I've got a crazy question I'm asking. What would you do differently if you become rich? And I love the response that I'm getting. This one says, if I become rich, I'll help the needy in society. And needy but brilliant students. The vulnerable in society, I'll help everybody to register under the health insurance scheme and also help farmers in my community. That's from Stephen Ayegogi in Chiana. But do we seriously mean the things that we are saying? Or we're just saying it, it's just like a dream that when you make a lot of money, this is what you do. But truly, truly, deep down in your heart, is this what you would do? This one, okay. KK Kusi in Ejuso Bisiasi, I'll come to your message. Let me do the Daily Graphic newspaper. Front page of the story. Snakes invade villages. The full story is on page 3. We will touch on it. This one says, Ghana imagine a strong democracy, according to our President John Dramani Mahama. Spio Gabra to face votes of censure if he fails to withdraw ban on export of raw cashew nuts. That's also another headline on the front page of the Daily Graphic this morning. Back page, 10,000 waste bins for AMA cannot be traced. And I think that I'm going to start sharing a bit of this story first before we go to the front page. It says that about 10,000 waste bins that were given to the Accra Metropolitan Assembly for distribution to communities and markets in the metropolis cannot be traced. According to some traders at the Central Business Districts of Accra, they had neither received any litter bins nor cited them in the market. As a result, the traders are often compelled to engage waste contractors to collect their garbage. Others who cannot afford the charges have turned some parts of the market into junkyards with the resultant stench that emanates from them. You can continue to read the rest of the story on back page of the graphic, but let's turn our attention to page 3 for this snake story that almost looks like a movie. It says that fear and panic has gripped residents of Esinipong and Kwaso, 2 adjoining towns in the Ejuso municipality in the Ashanti region, following an invasion of their homes and shops by hundreds of snakes. In the last 4 days, the residents have been living in great fear, especially when the snakes, mainly 3 different types, emerge from holes in homes and street sides, usually after 7 p.m. The snakes are green, black, and bigger ones that are ash in color. Residents, some of whom have killed as many as 87 snakes and nights in a single house, have to keep vigil till daybreak to constantly kill the snakes as they emerge from the holes. This is a story that we have to spend a bit of time on why this is happening, but most importantly, how we can stop this from continuing. Details in the Daily Graphic newspaper, but let's do the weekend find. The front page of the paper. Pollution kills millions. Cosmos to groom young entrepreneurs. But the story of interest, really, in fact, 2 close to my heart, so let's share bits and pieces with you. This one on page 2 with regards to the pollution issue. It says that many more people risk dying young if nothing is done to improve the prevailing poor environmental conditions in the country. Unhealthy environments accounts for diseases that claim an estimated 12.6 million lives each year, according to a new report by the World Health Organization. And you can continue to read. Let's take precautions. How do we stop pollutions? This other story on page 9, because we've been talking about no jobs for young people in our country. So when you hear that a company is training or grooming young entrepreneurs, that's somehow refreshing. So a bit of that story for you. Page 9 of the paper, it says that Cosmos Energy Ghana, as part of efforts at enhancing sustainable development in the country, has initiated a new flagship corporate social investment program called the Cosmos Innovation Center. It will use innovation and apply commercial solutions to Ghana's existing social and economic challenges by using a market-based approach that facilitates private sector enterprise and entrepreneurship. This initiative is a marked departure from the traditional approach to corporate social responsibility. We need some real work on the ground, and if that's what they're doing, then we say kudos to them. Let's do the Ghanaian Times newspaper next. Front page. Pando market women raise red flags. 60 sacks of compressed wheat seized at Pram Pram. Axe falls on judicial service again. 10 dismissed, 9 removed. LPP blames government for Woyome's acquittal. That's also another headline there. And massive fraud in pre-varsities. 13.1 million Ghana cedis blown. We will dig into that story in a bit. Back page, we are ready for emergencies. That's what NADMO seemed to be saying. It comes with the picture of Brigadier General Francis Vimsanziri, who is the acting national coordinator of NADMO. Water begins to flow at Insawem. Hooray! Congratulations to all the reporters who were on that beat. And let's pay a lot more attention to other places that do not have water at all. So let's start with this education story, which is on page 4 inside the Ghanaian Times newspaper. It says that some pre-university institutions across the country embezzled 13.1 million Ghana cedis during the 2014 financial year. The pre-university institutions are the senior high and technical schools, College of Educations and special schools. Audited uncovered massive fraud and other acts of impropriety during their routine examination of the books of accounts of the institutions for the period under review. This occurred because the heads of the institutions did not exercise effective supervision over cash receipts and banking duties. But aren't we tired of these things being told to us? Shouldn't somebody take an action instead of us just reading about their findings? Also, a bit on this story about the judicial service corruption. We brought you a brief in our AM news, but there are a lot more details. It says 10 staff of the judicial service have been dismissed for collecting bribes on behalf of judges and for themselves. 9 other staff have also been removed from office for holding ex-parte discussions with representatives of Anas Aremeyao, Anas's Tiger IPI, and facilitating meetings for judges. The dismissed staffs Eric Ayensu, who is a messenger of the Cape Coast Circuit Court, Daniel Opong, Circuit Court Registrar at Offenso, Alexander Atta, Assistant Court Registrar Cape Coast, John Adonu, Interpreter Grade 1 at Tema Circuit Courts. The rest are Mensa Bene, Assistant Registrar at Ejuso District Court, Frank Joe Dia, BBNE District Court Registrar, Daniel Todro, Tema Circuit Court Registrar, Frank Joe Dia, Senior Interpreter at the Aflao Circuit Courts, Frank Amaduma, Senior Interpreter at Aflao Circuit Courts, and Kweku Sapong, a watchman at Jabing Circuit Courts. There's a lot of the details in the paper that you can read. So that's what's latest coming out from these judicial investigations, which, you know, was open. The committees that were put up to investigate this by the Chief Justice herself, Mrs. Theodora Georgina Wood. Okay, so finally on the 60 sacks of compressed wheat seized at Pram Pram, which is on page 3, it says that the Pram Pram Divisional Police on Wednesday nights impounded, and then you can see the compressed slabs of dried leaves suspected to be Indian hemp in sacks right here. Not exactly very clear, but there's a picture there. It says that the Pram Pram Divisional Police on Wednesday night impounded 60 sacks of compressed slabs of dried leaves suspected to be Indian hemp at Pram Pram. The substances were found in a room at a house in Eyitepa and suspected to be awaiting transportation by sea to Nigeria. This was confirmed to the Ghanaian Times, and you can continue to read a lot more on this seizure. Quickly to the Daily Dispatch newspaper, front page of the paper. You are not the only wise person in NPP. NPP's Andrew Awuni has warned. Okay, so that is like the biggest story on the front page of the paper. It continues on the back page as well. That's what's in the Daily Dispatch in terms of what's on the front page. The Daily Guide newspaper. Scottish MPs jab Mahama over gays and snakes invade Ejuso town. NPP indicts government over Woyoma. But this picture, Okay, it's been making a lot of rounds, particularly on Facebook, and the Daily Guide has put it on its front page. But let me share a bit of the Scottish MP's jab Mahama over gays in the paper with you. Where does it start? Okay, so it says President John Mahama's visit to Scotland has been overshadowed by a charge from his hosts that his government operates an anti-gay policy, much to the disadvantage of the Ghanaian local community of lesbians, gay, bisexual and transgenders. The demand by his hosts to therefore give an account of his government's position on gay rights, a task which appears to have taken him off guard, has visited a challenge on his otherwise friendly tour of the historical segments of the United Kingdom, during which he is scheduled to be conferred with an honorary doctorate degree by the University of Aberdeen. And I think the Christian Council will say that, yeah, we said let's have a position. Let's have an official position on this so that wherever we travel to, when they ask us, we can tell them, this our country, Ghana, this is the position that we've taken on this. This is a subject that we don't particularly talk about. Officialdom will not discuss it, but we need a position on this, just like our late President Atani Delali had a position on it. Perhaps this administration must begin to think of an official position so that we can talk about it freely everywhere we go. The Business and Financial Times: high fuel cost scares off airlines. Where's the environmental tax cash? Industrialists ask government. Access Bank shows strong signs of growth despite economic challenges. AGI signs MOU with Confederation of Indian Industries. Back page: common fund boosted by some 400 million Ghana cedis. Vodafone to focus on mobile money solutions at this year's hackathon. Tigo Cash records phenomenal growth for 2015. These are some of the stories contained in the paper today. We end with the New Statesman newspaper. No funds for limited voter registration. EC summons IPAC meeting today. Really? No funds for the limited registration? Okay, I will share a bit of it in the paper. Sami Crab's suit against NPP suffers blows. Security experts: lack of security consciousness can hinder efforts against terror attacks. Mahama's create, loot and share agenda continues. That's according to Nana Komia. Back page: Sports Ministry very challenging. That's what Neil Antivanderpoy seemed to be saying, but he knew about it and he's a strong man. We know he can do the job. So let's get on to this EC story. That says that the limited voters registration exercise planned by the Electoral Commission for April could be in danger, as the Commission is yet to receive the funding support required to undertake the exercise. Credible information available to the New Statesman indicates that the Ministry of Finance has not yet released any amounts of the money to the EC to undertake that national exercise. We will delve into this issue because it's on all of our hearts. If the EC does not have the money, then how will this exercise be carried out? Let's do some message. KK Kusina Juso Bisiasi, you sent a message. You say Dr. Baumia has proven his economic and his intellectual acumen. Is it austerity measures? Okay, but you're using a lot of financial terms, but I think what you want to say is Baumia is on top of his game. KK Kusina Jiso, I acknowledge your message. Thank you very much. This one says, hi Mamavi, I love your program. May God be with you. Awun Toma from Kwembe in Salaga in the northern region sending the message. Thank you for that. This one says, good morning Mamavi. Hanga pre Mahama to stop roaming and save us from poverty. That's from Julie in Salaga. Where's this one coming from? Why is every Ghanaian crying for poverty? What is President Mahama doing? That was the earlier message that you sent. This one says, good morning. You guys are doing fantastic. Manani. And we say thank you for the message. This one says, good morning, Alhaji Baumia. You are great. We love your efforts. And that's from Vincent in Kumasi. This one simply says, oh, Ghana, with no name. Oh, what a shoddy job by the contractor. And I think everybody would agree that that's what a lot more of the assembly should be doing. Somebody does a shoddy job don't pay the person, let the person do the right thing. Let's see what we can find when we go to myjoyonline.com. Fred, are we doing myjoyonline.com? Okay. We have to wrap up and bring you sports, but there's a lot more news you find at myjoyonline.com. This one says, I'll help the needy and as many as I can out of poverty by providing them with the needed skills and jobs, which will in turn reduce and possibly eliminate crime associated with poverty. I will establish schools that are focused largely on the teaching of mathematics and science to create a nation of scientists to help industrialize the country so as to keep pace with other countries. That's from Benjamin Obeng Ajimai in Sunyai, answering the question of what would you do differently if you become rich. Stay with us. Benedict comes up with sports.